Good evening and welcome to another evening of webinar session with School of Media Arts and Design. We take great pleasure in bringing you this series of webinar sessions that we have been organizing for the last 7 to 8 weeks now. And during these sessions, we do ask our audience what topic or what field that you want webinar session to be held at. And one of the prominent answers was games and games development. And here we go. Today, we bring to you a session specifically for gamers on how to develop games, especially casual games. And this session is going to be definitely catering to all you game enthusiasts who like to play a lot of games and who actually like to develop those games. And in this webinar session, we would be actually been taken through a journey and the process of how to develop a casual game. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host for the day, Dr. Kent. Hello, Dr. Kent.
Hi, very good evening, Eddie. How are you?
Good evening, Dr. Kent. Yeah, very good, very good, very good, and enthusiastic. Looking forward to this particular webinar session. And first, I'd like to thank you for actually getting this webinar session organized and to get our guest on board. To give an introduction about Dr. Kent, Dr. Kent is currently a senior lecturer with the computer games development in Asia Pacific University of Innovation. He holds a PhD in information technology, and which he completed in the year 2009. He's very, very interested, and he teaches a lot of modules related to game design, level design, high concept, mobile gaming developments. Besides, he also runs workshops on Unity game engine in developing the multiplayer first-person shooter game. So that is his interest area. So first-person shooter games is field of interest. And he also actively involves in research and supervision for undergraduate and postgraduate students related to game engine and games development. So thank you, Dr. Kent. It's wonderful to have you here. And thank you for leading us into this webinar session. Now, I'd like to introduce our guest for the day. So here we go, bringing in Mr. Walter.
Thank you very much, Eddie.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Evan and Ken, how are you?
How are you?
Very good.
I'm fine, yeah.
So over to you, Dr. Kent. So I would meet you towards the end of the session. And to the audience, please do post your questions during the session so that we'll be able to answer it towards the end of the session, right? And towards the end of the session also, we will be providing you a feedback link. Ensure, please do give your valuable feedbacks. And when you provide your feedback to us, you are eligible to actually claim an e-certificate of participation, which will be forwarded to you to your email. So yeah, so over to you, Dr. Kent and Mr. Walter.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Very good evening to everyone. Let me have a little bit introduction about Walter Wong. Mr. Walter Wong was a former high achiever employee with Microsoft Malaysia, or we call it Microsoft MVP. And now he's a founder and CEO of a Malaysia software development company called Gain Secure Sendirian Berhad. The company is a leading software development company in Malaysia, revolutionizing the way how people dealing with software. By getting the right people for the right job, the company helps thousands of users every day to be more productive and effective. Some of the customized solution has developed by the company for household names such as convenience store 7-Eleven, Nando's, Giant Hypermarket, Mydin, AirAsia, and GSC, and many, many more. Okay, so let's welcome Walter for the webinar session. Thank you. Walter, is on you.
Okay, let me what my slide. Hey, thanks, Dr. Ken. Thanks, Dr. Ken, for that. Right. Should I start now?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Good afternoon and coming to evening to all the people who participate in this webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and we're going to spend the next 1 hour to talk about the journey and the process of developing the casual games. My name is Walter. So basically, I'm the founder and the co-founder to the two companies known as Gain Secure, as well as the Improvise. Right. So the Gain Secure itself is building a lot of system softwares, while the Improvise are focused on game developments. Just a little bit introduction about myself. I got an award starting from year 2008, so it's coming to 12 years from Microsoft, known as the Microsoft MVPs. At the same time, I speak a lot in international conference, but due to the COVID case, I kind of like grounded and don't spend a lot of time traveling. But I'm glad that we still can meet with each other online, virtually here. Right? Just a bit of that is I also want to highlight that I'm actually also is the alumni of Upit, not APU, because back in those days, we don't have the APU yet. I joined Upit in the year 2000s, and I officially graduated, I use the word officially graduated my degree in the year 2005, right? It's a bit long. It's because I study part-time and I work on the daytime, right? Yeah, that's about me. I think I need to give some credit to my colleagues. The guy on the left is actually Tim. Tim is actually a co-founder with me for this game company called Improvise. There's today under our banner there's about 2 or 3 games. Mostly it's the casual games. To be frank, I'm more a system person. He's much more like a game person. So I'm going to tell you about a real fact that it might surprise a lot of you, right? Number one thing is I'm a software engineer, software developer, software programmers, whatever you call it, for enterprise systems. I build systems for the companies. I'm not a game developers. Let me re-emphasize, I'm not a game developers. Personally, am I gamers? Yes. I only play two very traditional games. You can find me in CSGO, mostly on the casual side. Then you can find me on the Microsoft flight simulators. So I play a lot. I learn how to fly a plane because I cannot travel, so I learn how to fly a plane virtually, right? And then I don't really study about game designs, game mechanics, and any others throughout my careers because back in those days, what we study is how to learn how to write softwares, but not so much on games, right? And how I come up with the ideas for my games is I so happens that I met with the developers coming from Microsoft. They built a games called the Wordament. We met each other in Hong Kong during a conference, and that's how I get the ideas to how to build games for myself, right? And at the end of the days, I always tell people that if you want to do something and get something done, just like I'm a software engineer, but I want to produce a game, you just have to just do it. Just produce it, spend your time, do it. And today I'll share with you the journey, how I come up with the whole things, right? Before I continue to talk about that, I want to talk a bit that the company that I have and the culture I actually put inside to enable all these things is happening. Number one thing I always tell people is this is our philosophy. In fact, what you see now is actually a t-shirt design that we print out, I think about 2 or 3 years back, that we give out. Eat, sleep, work, and repeat, right? It's something fun that we always believe that in a company, the culture for us is a small team, less than 10 of us, but we need to work on something more fun. That's what we practice. One of the things that in the industry, people are aware that in our company, what happened here is all the people in the staff, ranging from designers all the way to programmers, we are all using gamers' laptop. The Y50 is my older laptops. And as you see from here, our colleagues are all using gamer laptops because what we believe is they need to have a good thing that they can write softwares, either games or other things. But at the same time, they need to play games after the working hours, right? So we get everyone a gamer's laptop. So when you see in the screen here, we have a Lenovo, we have the Ely Gears. And personally, I have a more high-end machine, which is running on the Asus ROG, which I got this last year. What happened here is I have a 32 GB of RAMs. I have the RTX 2070s. And what happened here is I'm running on 1 TB 2 SSD. Right, so this is the gamer's laptop that we use in our company, right? We also buy a lot of gadgets, right? Such as the big monitors. What you see here is I think it's 27-inch that we upgrade last year. So you get your gamer laptops, you get your gamers monitors, you get your the mouse wise. We don't use the gamer's mouse because we use something like a wild mouse, which is for work more. If you want to play games, you can use your own so-called the Razer mouse if you want to. Last year, we also upgrade to our colleague that we get them kind of like Christmas present to have the gamer headset. So I think with the chair, I think it's a full set already, except for the mouse. And we also recently purchased 2 of this specific from Singapore. It's actually called the Aftershock because we have 2 colleagues getting to join us in the July. We're getting them new laptops, which is this, right? The Aftershock Vapor 15. I kind of like this, right? It's really slim. Another culture we have is, beside all the gadget you have, is we pamper our staff with all the snacks. So definitely the health is not the first priority in our organizations. You're going to have all these what we call the snacks and all these kind of things accordingly, including a lot of soft drinks, way a lot of soft drinks, and your milk. Right, let's talk about prototype, right? One thing we understand is like Wordament have a concept. You can search about these games today in Microsoft, but we are referring to the very first version of that, which is like 5-6 years ago. So Wordament is a games that they have a single room with the multiplayer concept that everyone play at the same time, and then you compete against all the players, and then you find the most English word you can find within the board game. So this is the concept that we use as a reference. A lot of time when you build something, you have to think everything from scratch, right? Sometimes it's beyond your capability to execute. Also, what I did is I'm very honest. I refer to this game. I have a process, right? I built something called the Magicians. So this is the posters. And what happened here is this. I follow the first and the second rules. And what I did is I just changed the mechanics, right? The gameplay. From English words, I changed to mathematical equations. That's the whole goal. That's all I did. I followed this, and I have a timeline that show you that on prototype we built in 2014, which I do alone, and then my team put together a V1, a V2, and V3. I'll share with you the journey and what really happening in the prototype to V1, V2, and V3, which is very interesting. So we talk about the prototype. This is what I came out with. Something super flat, design, no animations, it's just the gameplay. So the gameplay is super straightforward. You're going to get a board of 5x5, and all you have to do is to find the numbers, add up to become 33. So in this case, it might sound something very simple, but we realize the gameplay are super difficult. At this case, right, you will find two numbers add up to be 33. So what will be the answers, right? If you click on 14, if you cannot find the other matching numbers, then you have to redo everything again. So this is basically games that we created for it. Like for example, 33, you can do a combination of 18 and 15. That's a simple gameplay. But everyone is here, everyone, there's a 10 players, is a multiplayers. So what I did is I come with this prototype, and my team put in more features to become a V1. And we come up with a tagline called "Don't get mad, just add," something very straightforward. Then we put in some like a Facebook login. So I have a casual games officially under our banners, right? And then this is how it look like. I have all screenshots that I have from my histories I show you. And why is it horizontal? Because it was designed for tablets that people play horizontally, like a Windows tablet. The game you see now is only available on Windows. It doesn't available in any of the mobile app at this moment. So you're queuing, you're joining the groups, right? You're waiting for the gameplays. And then you can have a power, you can cast, you can like stop other players. And then you get the casualties, and then you get the enemies, the kind of thing. It's a multiplayers, right? We have this game being created, right? And then the interesting part is we got a chance. Because of this, we showed to the government, and we got the chance to go to a very precious event. We call it the Tokyo Game Show. I believe this is the time in 2014, if I remember correctly. I'll show you more, but before that, I want to play a video. Right, so this is basically the thing, and we have a package which is we have the game ready on the tablets. We have a video as a promotional. We print out something, and then we do a roadshow. All right, we do a roadshow around. We do events. People are playing games, and then this is what I show you is the government actually bought this particular MDAC, give us a chance to showcase our very simple, very I would say a bit unique because of the gameplay to the Tokyo. However, it's Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show is one of the most precious game exhibitions in the world after E3, right? If they're not the first, they mostly is the second, right? So we got the chance that we don't know what's happening. A company who builds software bring our thing to Tokyo Game Show, and it's an amazing experience. This is my team, we are there. And then we asked some Japanese people who come and do a play. Yes, we under the Malaysian banner, we are super proud. People play game, people laugh, and people like, whoa, this is very difficult to play, right? The kind of thing, and we are happy with the thing we found. And then towards the end of the 4 days exhibitions, it's the lifetime experience to all of us. It's because we are very nearby to the PlayStation's booth, right? And then we met a lot of people on games. Yeah, we are shocked, right? We are shocked that we have a very simple games, yet we are surprised that we stand beside these people, right, and showcase at the same time, right? Then we realize that we are not really that great, right? We just build games that for fun, everyone's happy, it's experience. The company have a very good team. We went out for an extended 4 or 5 days corporate trip in Tokyo. Of course, company pay for everything. Yeah, this is the famous Gundam. I think it's no longer now. They're going to build a new one, but it's a good experience for travel. We have a lot of foods. We have a lot of freebies, right? After that, the journey getting more interesting, where suddenly Microsoft showcase our games and put it into their website. It's a worldwide website. It's really shocked us, right? So, but this news has been so many years. I couldn't find the link, but I found back the Facebook page with the thing that I have there. And then we move on to the version 2. We move on to the version 2 that we believe there's a potential of this. And of course, the time we, from a normal Windows tablet or play on a desktop, we want to move on to a broad audience such as the iOS and the Android. So what happened here is we take our initial one. If you see the 1, 2, 3 point I'm talking about, I just add one more. To execute it, we just add one more, which is like, okay, the goal is very straightforward. The next goal is to available the games in iOS and Android, right? It had to go through a lot of redesign because initially the thing is on the horizontal, what we'll call the, on the landscape mode. Now, because phone, we prefer to move it into the portrait. And then a lot of things happening. Suddenly, we got 2 interns from Tar College that they're looking for internship in our company, and we absorbed them for 4 months internship for the interns. What we really plan is something more interesting. If you do remember, just now there is a video you see, something very straightforward. We get the 2 interns in, they help us to redesign the storyline of the games, but come with the video as a trailer for our games, which I want to share with you now in this link. But I do believe that I pre-opened it. So if you can see from here, there's actually a YouTube, well, let me expand it, and I played it. Right, let's jump back to our slides. So what happened here is we got 2 interns that they came here and they helped us to do a redesign of the video. And I'm super shocked with the quality we have in terms of the video from what we have in the version 1 that did by our designers versus what we have here, where we have 2 full-time interns take about 3 to 4 months to come up with this video and storyline to match back the direction of what we want to build in the future. So this journey is super interesting, and it came in as a surprise because suddenly we just have 2 interns to help us on this, right? Because as you all know, to do a video is not easy. But I give a super high a mark on this particular video because I believe it's quite a good qualities, right? And then we kind of do a rebranding. That's our new logo called the Magicians. And because it's a portrait, I want to share with you, if you're just playing, then you can choose a costume. We do available have what we call, you customize your own avatar. And then this is how it look like. Because it's on the phone, that's why it look a bit small, but it's the same concept. while you're going to have a 5x5 bots. We play the same games, everyone plays the same thing at the same time with the whole world. But this time we're actually having more powers. Last time you see it's only the frost. Well, now you got the fire, you got the earth. I'm sorry, you got the poison, and the other one I can't remember is a lightning or something like that. But we kind of increase the gameplays, and then you can cast a spell. And then if you are the victim of the spell, you kind of like because it's really against time, you kind of stop it. You cannot play for 5 seconds. Of course, you're going to delay your scoring in the gameplays. Right, this is how it looks like. It's like 22 seconds per minute. It's like you can answer 22 equations in a minute, right? And then these are some of the gameplays that, of course, some of this is bots that we come out with some of these things. So I would say it's a multiplayer gameplays that we are proudly present this one to the thing. The one thing that people not aware is the journey is beyond that. We actually got the support of the Malaysian government via MDAC, and we actually got the grant to build this game to this level that what you see here. The grant gives us about 100,000 ringgit for us to build the games, to buy the equipment, to buy the software license, to hire staff to work on this. So honestly, here I'm very blessing that our government has supported us in many extent. After they give us a chance to go to Tokyo game shows, continuously they see the potentials and they give us more so-called the support to continue build this thing, because first of all is Malaysian content, number 2 is educational. So from multiple perspective, we are super happy to having these milestones. So eventually everything stopped there, that the game go out to the Play Store, people are playing, people are doing that. We got some names throughout the years, but as you all know, the game itself doesn't last long. It's very rare you see a game produce of games you're going to last only for 2 or 3 years, right? Unless you continue doing a lot of enhancements. But because we don't have the resources, do remember this one is starting from a prototype, starting from a small idea, starting from something fun. To convert into business are totally different things, right? Because we do make some money out of the games, but it's not a game that can sustain so long. So I kind of like stop everything there until one day Dr. Ken, as a good friend of mine, give me a call that, hey bro, I do have a couple interns want to join a company. Then from there I come up with the idea of the V3 of the magicians and allow these people to work on it. So what I did is I take back my so-called the features list, and then I kind of strike out. So I don't want to do a multiplayers. I don't want to compete against the multiplayers around the world, but I want to remain the thing as the mathematical equations, because it's called magicians, right? I want to keep the ideas of iOS and Android, right? But this time I want to support offline. Offline in the sense that I want to do a storylines, and I want to have offline gameplay. So what happened here is throughout the rebranding of the games, if I'm not mistaken, the total has come up to 60 stages until you beat. But I can tell you, if any one of you who listen to this webinar, currently the thing is only available in the Apple, the Android one, we can't take it down. For those of you using Apple, if you can beat the games up to like, you can reach, let's say stage, I would say 30, I personally buy you a meal. Most people can't even get through stage of 20, right? But you have 60 because the difficulty are really there, right? We can't rebrand, because if the stages, we had to draw more and more enemy avatar, and the teams are kind of put everything together. Previously, you only see the sorcerers, but because of the new version 3 gameplay, you get like a rockman, a fire evils, tons of name they give, slimers, right? And then we do a rebrandings of our things. We draw more avatar. We are very proud of this new avatar because I feel it's very cute. And then it's available there. It's a bit bad on the image, but this is what you're getting. Yep. And then I think this is the stage of, I don't know, stage of 50 plus. You solve this equation like in a minute. For example, find 2 numbers up to 91. In the first class, you maybe cannot find the numbers, right? Or you can. But imagine to answer this kind of questions, like maybe you answer 10 in a minute, is super challenging, super challenging, Once you played it, you will know how difficult is that. Right? Same happened this. And then there's a lot of things that come to highlight. These are the gameplay on the version 3. Oops, it's repeated. What I want to tell you about the lesson is what you see in version 3, and Dr. Ken called me, is he sending me 3 super top students from APU, from his game site, which is 3 of them. And then I go back and tell Dr. Ken, I will not absorb any of your interns unless you have 3 engineers partner with maybe 1 or 2 designers. So at the end, they also are going to reach out. I think the intern himself going to reach out to the different faculty, which is on the art side, and get another guy to join the team. So the 4 of them spend about 6 months to produce the version 3 from the scratch. The designer will draw all the things while the while 3 of them come up with the gameplays, storylines, with my approval, of course, to have the whole games. Why I want to give credit to this is, imagine 4 interns, what they achieved in 6 months is they got my official consent to publish the game to the Google Play and Apple Store. That is one big achievement. I give you some examples, right? People who do interns, do you ever even got a chance to publish anything, even a small apps? These 4 of them, I'm super proud as their supervisors during the interns. They actually produced the game with quality, put it out into the app store. Imagine, I think some of them are graduated soon. Once they graduated, they just tell them, I publish a game with the consent of the previous company during internship, and then this is the game that you can download. Without much questions, I do believe the employee will just say, oh, you definitely have the capability. But one thing I want to highlight here is, I won't take 3 engineers by default, because if you are games, you need to have a good partners to support you on the graphics. That is a must, right? That's a very, very important things that we tell everyone, that you must actually do that, right? And then, again, so everyone by default then come into answer thing, no question asked. All 4 of them got distinctions during the internships, because I believe people who can perform and deliver quality stuff, they deserve to have some of the best things in the world. Right. Let's talk about conclusion of our journey. Right. I do learn a lot during 3 versions, starting from business, starting from the game developments. I met people who totally I don't met. One of the reasons is because people, the people who actually met is the game developers. They are different kind of people versus people who write softwares, right? People who write software are people like me, that we fulfill a lot of requirements, but we are not thinking sometimes make it fun, right? But games are totally different approach, that they actually having a different mindsets. But I'm very glad I have a lot of friends now today. They're working in some of the big studios today available in Malaysia. And also, if you ask me, did I earn a lot of money on game development? I wouldn't say much, right? I would say, okay, we earn some money, but not a lot, right? While my another business who build softwares earn more money for myself and the company than building the games, right? If you ask me whether I fulfill my personal ego, I definitely say yes. Think about it, right? I think in the year 2012, I met this engineer from Microsoft, starting from a story which I told you in the early of the slides that I met him. The game during that time is very big things. People like to play called the Wordaments. And during my time, I think I'll do something like that, right? Just fulfill my own personal ego. That's why I created the Magicians, right? I think about the brandings, I think about the gameplays, I come up about all these things to come up with the conclusions. And throughout the 3 versions, I deliver everything at once, such as the multiplayers, such as the gameplays. Got this chance to the Tokyo game shows. Actually, not only that, they actually more than that we got a chance to do a lot of what we call the sharing our app with a lot of people. We do a lot of roadshow, including the Petroscience. If you know the education center in KLCC, I do believe the year of 2015, we have a roadshow where we got invited for their, so the Petrol Science have a roadshow to few state where they showcase about the importance of science, importance of maths, this and that. They invite us to join their roadshow. So in the roadshow, they give us a booth, and then we showcase our magician games to all these people to play. So the parents bring their kids, they play the game, they feel it's like it. But during the time, we have a problem, which is the connectivity. That's the reason why when we have an opportunity to work on version 3s, I would tell them that I want to do offline. So in the offline, they can play the games, and that is a very good experience that I do believe that it's a lifetime experience for me and some of my ex-colleagues who already leave the companies, and also for those colleagues who still on the company. I think it's a lifetime experience that we're able to been through this. It's really, really amazing. That's why at the last point I mentioned that it's really, really a good experience, right? That is something that is hard to explain, but through the slide, you can understand what I've been through, how I come to all these things. So in case whoever that today joining the webinar, there's actually another video that I interviewed only recently before the MCO that available on the YouTube. So for those of you who, I'll try to find a way to talk to Dr. Ken or whoever that try to put some of these slides available in maybe in the Facebook. This interview will give you more understanding about what I've been through and what I basically about my life, building games, building softwares, that kind of thing, right? Another part I would like to highlight to you is remember today you guys are very lucky. For those of you who got a chance to work on the game developments, it depends on timing. In the sense that today Malaysia have a lot of game studios. We talk about even the game studio who produce AAA titles. I'm just doing it's a AAA titles. Why my company never do a AAA titles is because we are the company that cannot afford to build a AAA titles. To build a AAA titles, you maybe need a team of 100 people, including the artists, right, to draw some of these things, to do the gameplay, to work on the game mechanics, this and that. We are not that company. So we know ourselves. That's why we only focus on casual games, only on casual games, right? But today, if you work as if you graduated as the game developers from the APU, you can work for some of the studios, such as the there's a lot of studio here. If you guys are aware that recently there is a launch or relaunch of the Red Alerts, okay, the Command and Conquer, the remaster, that thing partially, I think, not partially, majority redeveloped in Malaysia. It's called a studio called, I think it's called Sky Lemon, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know them, but I have some friends who work inside there. It's a studio that today is the right time in Malaysia. They have the right resources. They produce a lot of AAA titles to a lot of big players like Capcom, like the EA, this and that. If I'm not mistaken, last year, the Street Fighters, they also did it here in Malaysia. I'm not sure is it including gameplays or not, but definitely a lot of the artwork are drawn in Malaysia. So if you graduated now, you have a bright futures to join some of these AAA studio and have an experience to work in these big studios, right? But before all these big studios starting from 2-3 years ago, Malaysia used to have, we still have a lot of casual games studios. One of that, the most famous one, of course, is not my company. I cannot say I'm very successful in that space. But there's another company who produced a badminton mobile games. They call the MediaSoft. They program something called, I think the game is called Jump Smash. It's super famous. How famous is that? Is including all the way until Leaning, the brand, the Leaning brand. They actually pay sponsorship to change the name of the app from Jump Smash to Leaning Jump Smash. That's an opportunity there, but a lot of time people understand that a lot of fresh grad coming out, you have to understand that your capability are limited. Whatever you learn is very limited. You have to learn how to play along, how to learn along the way with some of these big players. It's an experience that you will go through and understand throughout the journey. That's the word I will use it for now. But again, this video take about 5 minutes. I think we still have some time, but I won't play the videos. I'll recommend you go to YouTube and search for this video. Right. The next one I'll tell you is much more. I'm kind of like conclude my presentation, but there's a lot of freebies I want to give away. We are hiring. We are hiring that today. Just some air times for those of you who actually currently study or going to graduate soon. Unfortunately, the engineering roles are being taken up by also an ex-APU students. We just recently hired a few for the engineering roles, but we are hiring a designer full-time and both full-time and interns. So if any one of you who listen here or your friends who want to join us as a full-time and want to have all these like a gamer laptops, that kind of thing for their work, like a 27-inch monitor for the work, let us know, right? Let us know. You can reach out to me. I will have my Facebook after that. So for those students who are interested can connect with me. It so happened that any parents here who viewing this webinar and wish to connect with me, ask some like a so-called feedback, I think I can give some to you guys, right? But again, for those of you who want to join me, let me know, ping me. But the role of this designer are not, I mean, we need some artists who can draw, who specialize in multimedia. So it's not an engineering role, but more on the creative roles. Okay, unless you are engineering student with super good creative, right? If you have a super good creative sense, then we don't mind to interview you. Or you can come to my office just to visit us for fun. Eat all the snacks we have, all the soft drinks. We see our people, see our gears, like all the laptops and all this kind of thing. Remember this T-shirt that I'm wearing here? I don't know how to you. Actually, this T-shirt is printed by us. It's not I buy from Amazon or somewhere. It's printed by us. Because of MCO kind of lockdown, we unable to give out a lot of this to our friends, to our customers, this and that. So that's why I'm willing to give away for those of you who want a free T-shirts that you want to us. So this is how it works, right? I'll give you my Facebook contact later on. When you add me, please mention to me that you actually watching this webinar. So what happened here is because I don't accept someone just add me from nowhere, right? Just tell me you add the webinar, you get to know me through the APU webinar, and then I'll be his friend. And then you PM me your size. Then I'll check the size whether it's still a stock for you. I think about 30 to 50 pieces, but the size are variants. And then once I tell you got size, what you can do is either you come and collect from our office, or you want to spend some time with me to talk about, to understand about the career. You're more than welcome to let me know. Come to my office. I'll get you a coffee. I'll get you a soft drinks, Coca-Cola, or wherever. I can spend like 10 to 15 minutes with you, and at the same time, I can give you a T-shirts. But for those of you who only want to have the T-shirts, don't worry. You can add me. Let me know the size. Then you can call the Grab or the Lala Move or whatever pickup service. Come to my office, pick up the thing, and send to your house. As long as you give me and know the size, your name, everything upfront, we will arrange. We will let you know that you can send someone to collect size. Because let's say you come here, for example, if you want S size, if the S size is no more, then unfortunately I cannot give you the thing. But we still have some T-shirts and something to give away for you all. Something very cool. I think something is very cool that we do a lot. For information, Gain Secure has been printing like 10 different T-shirts all the while. In the earlier slides, you see that the first, which is the black color and the green color one, that we say that I think it's a eat, sleep, work, repeat. That's actually the very old T-shirts we have, right? And then again, this is my Facebook. You can add me. Just when you add me and mention to me that you meet me here, so I know that you are not some scammer coming from nowhere. Let's say that, yeah. So this is it. You can add me, and then by that I kind of conclude the journey. Because the journey about how to building casual games is something very interesting throughout my life that I think is worth sharing with the people like you. And hope you all enjoyed it. Right, Dr. Ken, I think
Hi.
I give it back to you.
Thank you very much. It was a very inspiring presentation. I think just now you show one slide regarding to the hiring of interns. I think many audience maybe they would like to know what actually the previous group of the student learn throughout the journey of the game development, either technically or theoretically. Can you actually maybe give more information what they learned during this 6 month time?
Oh, right. So we talk about, I think about 2 years back or 1.5 years back, when we got this intern recommended by you also. So what happened here is they didn't learn about the process of thinking. So when they come in here, I can't tell them, right, there's a goal you want to do, which is building the games, right? We just have a goal. But along the way, they need to think like, okay, if you want to do a gameplay, right? We tell them it's offline, so they must come up with a story. So 4 young very kids that like spend 2 weeks, I remember it's 2 weeks. They sit down, they think before they propose back to me. So I don't want to help them to think about the gameplays. I want to let their creativity flow. So what happened here is they go in, they think a lot of the story, and they pass it back to me and ask me to make a decision. So it's true that after 2 weeks they give me, and then I ask them, right, based on this so-called storylines, we want to build offline. So everyone understands. So my questions continue to ask them. So we should do 50 stages. We should do 60, 70, 80, or 200 stages. So that caught them in a very surprising way. Like, oh yeah, they never think on that. You cannot build something that is 200 stages where people can only achieve up to like stage 20 only, right? So at the end, we talk through their process. We decide to nail it down to 60, right? So if you ask them what do they learn, I basically just like their parents. I teach them how to think, and also at the same time tell them when you think of something, the logic must come in, the idea must come in, and that kind of thing. Yep.
All right. I think Water, your company, Gain Secure. I think everyone know this name. It's a local software development company, and services are constantly sought out after large enterprise across various industry. I think the company main strength is more to customizing user-friendly solution that are integrated throughout the supply chain and the mobility devices. So my next question is, what do you think about the futures, which is related to the integration of games with the software solution?
Oh, I think there's a big opportunity there. So you have games, right?
Yeah.
And then today, if you see carefully, a lot of software are building around the game ecosystem. Just give you some example, right? Last time you see games and you see streaming technology are two different things. But you see what happened with the Twix happening is like they streamline the games, and from there you see a big kind of opportunity. So to today, like for example, I think I see that you're going back to office already and start to work in the AP. Right. Just imagine that if today you cannot run a proper e-sport event, right? You can still do online, but people still looking for going to stadiums, e-sport stadium. People can shout, people can do all these things that they watching all their favorite so-called players playing games up on the stage. You can't do that anymore, at least for next 6 months, right? Because of the SOP in various countries. But imagine the technology come in space that we build softwares like give you a virtual space that beside you watching a live of games that people made all the players, the esport players play at home. Imagine outside you're going to see a virtual, I would say a Logitech booth. They will showcase their gadgets. They can give you vouchers, or you just look at like for example, you go to the virtual space. They give you a chance to chit chat with some of the pro players who could not make it to the final, for example. They are like superstars, right? They're outside. They can chat with you. You can ask them questions, that kind of thing. So software come in a very interesting perspective, especially now, to support the gameplays, to support the e-sport, to support all this kind of thing. Yep. Right. Now there are some questions coming in.
Maybe we take some questions. Yeah,
Yep,
coming in.
yep.
I think she's our colleague, Dr. City.
Hi, Dr. City.
Regarding games are good or bad? What's the pros and cons, especially for
That's interesting. Let's put it this way, lah. I played games when I was young, right? In fact, I tell you, when I got my first PC, is I still remember is during my age of, I would say 10, age of 10, my parent got me a 386 desktop. The first thing what you do, you install games. We play computer games. Even before that, I played like the console game. That time is the Micro Genius. Um, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing because after you grow up, you're going to realize that we actually learn through a lot of things from playing games. Like for example, if you cannot solve a puzzle, you find various ways to solve a puzzle. I believe that kind of concept happened to life, right? If you cannot solve some things, you find a different way approach to solve your problems, especially in the programmings, right? If a for loop in this way it doesn't works, use another loop. That kind of concepts.
all right?
Mm,
Maybe I have another questions for you. Now,
sure.
I think this is actually my personal questions that
Oh,
regarding
sure.
to your company. So just a curiosity about your company's future target related to games development. So do you actually have any kinds of allocation, manpower that
Uh,
tend to develop games, or what is the direction?
okay, just to give you some example that all the games that today I do, because as you see in the earlier slide, I do have two different companies, which is the Game Secure, which is mostly focused on the solutions. So about a few years back, we decided to make it more clear cuts that any games will now go under something called the Wimprovise. And as a game studio per se. So what we did is we really did that, right? And then as much as the business development for the Wimprovise, we do have the plan to have some games. My colleagues are mainly driving that more than I do, right? But we wish that at least in the next 2 years we have another casual games been launched to the industry. We really wish the next one, right? Because to be frank with you, Magician is coming to the sunset where most of the things been done, right? We just cannot think of the V4 anymore. Just no more V4 unless I wake up one day, something come to my mind. Yep. There's a
There's
question
another
from Alvin.
questions coming in from Alvin. What other plans do you have in the future? I mean,
Yeah.
are you
Yes,
going
yes.
to update the game, create a new one?
We mostly create a new one. I think the Magician went through V3, fulfill my so-called my ego,
All right.
fulfill the experience that we went through the Tokyo Game shows and this and that. I think it's the most we can stretch really. There's no other thing we can do with the thing. But there's one thing that personally that I really feel that I should believe that I maybe want to clean up the V3 and expose it out to all the primary school is something that last thing I want to achieve for the magicians. The reason is because I feel that it's something very educational, right? That's one dream that I haven't fulfilled in the magician is I cannot have a game league like a competition among the school. I really wish I can have that using my games and I can run a competition. I can sponsor like tablets. So if any of you could bring me to the school and run these competitions, Game Secure and the Wimpros, I'm more than happy to work on that. I really wish that I can have my own e-sport for one last round. Yeah.
Another new question from Dashini. Uh, if you propose an game idea or storyline different from the magician for support,
Mm.
or will Wimprovise accept, or if no, any advice or on new
Oh,
creators?
So for Dashini, if I pronounce your name correctly, if you have some interesting ideas, right, we definitely will we're more than happy to buy you a dinner and sit down and we can do what we call idea bouncing to get some idea. But I want to tell you one part is to execute game developments to publish all the way from ideations to publishing to the store is not an easy task. It's not an easy task. I told Dr. Ken this before, that when I have 4 interns the last round and can publish, I'll use the word is a miracle.
Oh,
I think
maybe
Dr.
you
Ken
can
will agree with
share
me that, yeah.
maybe
Because the
you can
whole team just have
share the
synergy, yeah.
difficulty or the challenge you have experienced
It's just
together
that,
with the interns.
it's just that I can coach, I can give them ideas, I can give them the resources, but it's come down to the students, how determined they are to produce and get it to the last milestone, which is to the finish line.
Yeah.
Right. Throughout the years, we have interns doing halfway, just cannot finish the. I mean, not necessarily the interns from APU. It's just a nature that the students, because we treat them like students, then they also understand as students. They never go extra miles. But while I have these 4 interns, their attitude are super important. They come in, I told them, you either get a distinction in your internship or you get the fail in your internship. Get it done. They eventually get it done. So that's why I say just now, the colleague there, Dashini, if you have any ideas, I'm more than happy to look into that, because games is about ideas, right? As long as something that achievable within a short time frame is okay. Why we cannot do AAA titles? Because AAA titles take like 5 years. We don't have the resources to do a game for 5 years or even 3 years. For casual games, we can execute something between 3 months to 6 months. Usually 3 months is very rare, but 3 months, if you finish the so-called base version in 3 months, and then you take 2 months to clean it up, then you have a product, you have games. We are more than happy to work with you. You have the idea, send us like your proposals. Proposal in the sense that just tell us the idea, draw something out as a concept. We will help you to, from concept all the way execute into a product towards the end. Yeah.
All right. That's another question. What do you, from Kamal Hassan, what do you think of the crunch culture that video games company tend to embrace?
I think if you have experience to join this really, I would say AAA titles game companies, right? You will realize that how much effort they actually put it in to build games is scary. The resources, the effort. I mean, if Kamal Hassan as a software engineers or even the game designers or even the artists who join that, you will realize that you have to spend a lot of the hours to actually work in that projects. It's actually super intense. It's very different culture from what I do as a software companies. Take games as a like a part-time kind of hobby and job and that kind of thing, right? It's very different because my company's survival doesn't rely on the game, so-called the revenue and all those things. But if you work for a game companies, like for example EA, or you work for a Skylemon, right? These are big studios. Their so-called the revenue based on the deliverables are super high. So if you work for that, I do believe that it's an interesting cultures. You learn a lot. You be pressured to make your as a person who can stand up more pressure than ever, right? Same happened to us. We take our software delivery customer very serious. So we take that part more serious than we build games is something that I tell everyone. Yep.
All right. Another question from Anand. In order to develop videos, how many types of programming language we need
I
to
need to know. I think a lot of people misunderstand not only for games development, but in general about the software industry. A lot of time you want to learn a lot of the language like 100. I do know the APU might teach you like Java, C Sharp, C, that's 3. Those are what we call a fundamental language. For example, today, if you for Mr. Anand, if you want to build a video games or a mobile games, or even the PS games or some of these things, you can just learn C Sharp using a Unity. That's all. You can just use that. So eventually, one is all you need to build the thing, unless you go for other platform. Like for example, you don't want to use the Unity platform, you want to use the other platforms, then you have to learn the language there. Mostly it's running on the C++. Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends on your range, like you want to do a casual games or you want to go for AAA titles. It doesn't say that Unity cannot do AAA titles, but as starters, people use Unity to jump into a casual games.
All right. I think let's have a last question lah.
Okay, no problem.
This is from our colleagues, Matthew V. What's your advice to parents who are skeptical about the games development as a career for their children in Malaysia?
I think these questions from Mr. Matthew asked a very interesting time during, I would say, the year 2000s. In fact, I would say this thing 2 years back, right? Today, Malaysia has the market. They has the market in the sense that, as I mentioned, there are a couple of big studios set up their foot in Malaysia, in KL, specific at the Bangsa South. This game studio, they do for AAA titles. They produce game for PS, for Xbox. They are big and they need people. They need people in the sense that they need people who actually come in here. They need the manpower to produce the game for their clients, right? So I do believe that now is a good time. If you ask me this 10 years ago, I'll tell you, you're going to sleep at the street, man. If you don't have any, you're going to get any so-called a job there, right? That's why I say there's a change, which is the credit really going back to the governments that they set up this many years ago, right? That they actually brought up this gaming industry, not only on the esports, but also in general, the content developments, right? I do believe it's a good time. at least you can find a job.
All right. I think we almost have all the questions. I think let's come back to Eddie to conclude the session.
Yeah, I am. Thank you very much, Walter and Dr. Kent, for this session. I, as a newbie to gaming and understanding the process of gaming, definitely it was an eye-opener for me. Thank you very much, Walter.
Yeah, you're welcome, Evan.
So you have taken a simple game, and I definitely feel a sense of openness that you are able to show, and that transcends a very, very nice situation for the students to actually come forward and talk to the industry. So that warmth is what is important. I think that you have actually cascaded to the students, where you have asked them to come down and speak to you and share thoughts.
Yeah, I'm fine, right? So what happened here is I do believe the industry is not what I learn and I keep it by myself.
Yeah.
It's about, I mean, I almost come to 20 years in the industries. The new generation have to come in, right? That's why if they want to visit our office, we have a very small so-called office, not very far away from the APU. But if they want to come and see the cultures, how I train my people, they are more than happy to come here. Throw me some ideas. I'll feed them some snacks. Don't worry about that. Yeah. In fact, not only we do it for the APU. In fact, I speak for many years. I've been sharing my knowledge on wherever I know, from technical, from business, from some of these things with the community in the industry. That's why you see I mean, Dr. Ken aware that I do a lot of presentation in the overseas to share my technical skills. It's something that knowledge has been shared, right? It's not to keep within yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Walter, again for this particular session.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. I mean, I'm really glad that you guys invite me to share some of these things. I'm very happy, quite happy with that.
It's a pleasure actually to have you here, and thank you for your time.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And then the surprise that you gave to our audience with your T-shirt.
Yeah, I have some T-shirts. Yeah. We have, because usually every year we'll print about 2 to 3 rounds of the T-shirts. So if there's something for me, just mainly do it and to give away. So you can just request a T-shirt from me.
Thank you. And to the audience, thank you for being with us. I've left behind the link for the feedback form. Please do fill up the feedback form so that we'll be able to send you your e-certificate of participation. And with that note, I also want to share with you what's in store for you the coming week. So the coming week we are venturing into industrial design. So for those who would like to know more about industrial design and project design and what's the world of designing, please do join us next week, which is the 3rd July 2020. But this time we're doing it at 8 p.m. Malaysian time. Okay, so we have a guest, Ang Chin from Expedio, will be with us to actually take us through the introduction into industrial design. So looking forward to meet you all for our next session. And again, thank you, Dr. Kent and Walter, for this amazing session. Have a nice day. Take care. Thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Bye bye. See you.